morning or good afternoon, depending on what part of the world you're in, and welcome to today's presentation. My name is Harry Kohal. I'm Vice President of Business Development, and I'll be your presenter today. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Eagle Technology before we start. Our corporate offices are located in Mequon, Wisconsin, just north of downtown Milwaukee. Eagle's been in business 30 years in the enterprise asset management and computerized maintenance management market. We have over 3,000 users worldwide, and our software is translated into approximately 20 different languages, and we have partners in 34 countries throughout the world. Today, I'd like to explore an issue many manufacturing organizations struggle with, and that's reliability. It's a topic that has numerous articles printed about it almost every week, and one would think that with the vast knowledge we have about reliability, it wouldn't be such a hot topic, but here we are talking about it today. There's a constant conflict between production and maintenance scheduling. Maintenance needs to get at the equipment to do the PMs on it, but production and management wants orders to get out the door, so they need the equipment. This issue aside, the hardest part about starting a reliability program is freeing up maintenance time. In all the companies I visit, maintenance personnel are very busy. They're hardworking, they're conscientious, and they're dedicated, but they're busy. So where do they find the time to go from the firefighting to the proactive mode? I'm going to ask you to participate in this webinar by answering some survey questions. And the first question is, what percentage of your work done by your maintenance department is preventative? So here's the survey question. Please answer it now. Thank you. It looks like there's still a good percentage of you that are all reactive. So let me ask you one other question, and then we'll get on with the presentation. Is your company a 5S organization? Well, it looks like the majority of you are either not sure or don't know. So I'll explain what 5S is. It's the Japanese concept that was introduced many years ago to be able to sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. There's a sixth S that goes with this too, and that's safety. But 5S means that when you have a broom or a mop, you have a board that it goes on when it's not in use. When you are looking for a part, it's in a specific place and it's marked. If your company doesn't use 5S or these principles, it's one of the things that will be helpful in moving toward a reliability program. So, let me ask you another question. Are your OEM manuals electronic and easily retrievable? In other words, do your maintenance techs have easy access to the technical information that they need? Do you have the right parts on hand at all times? Or do you carry too much inventory? I've gone through facilities where we can easily find $40,000, $80,000 worth of material that is excess. We've also found organizations that I've gone through where there's $20,000, $30,000 worth of obsolete or scrap that they can get rid of. That scrap takes up space in your organization, and space costs money. And it also makes it harder to find the parts you really need. So it's important in your maintenance that your maintenance activities require commitment of time and effort to make sure things are organized. Naming stock items, for example, and equipment in a consistent way is very important. One other survey question real quick. How many of you have your equipment either barcoded or QR code in some fashion so that everybody has a unique identity to access the equipment? Thank you. Almost 70% of you don't have some type of identification on your equipment that's consistent in terms of a QR code or a barcode. So if you have a PM program, let me ask you this, and you don't have to answer a question here, just think about it to yourself. If you have a PM program, are the tasks in the work orders that you provide to the maintenance technicians specific? Do they include safety instructions? Or do they leave room for error with the new employee? Does your maintenance instructions say something like maintain piece of equipment X or Y or Z? Or do they say step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5? If you're leaving room for error, you have potential of poor maintenance, missed maintenance steps, or the opportunity to have a lawsuit potentially because you don't have detailed safety instructions as part of your PM. So that aside, let me propose what I think is the most logical way for a maintenance organization to get to a reliability status. The real question, and it's very logical, is develop good information. If you don't have solid data, you'll never get to the reliability status. Ask yourself, what pieces of equipment or locations or machines cause my people the most headache? What's causing me to spend most of my time firefighting? And then what you need to do, and again, the 80-20 rule comes into play here, putting your efforts, 20% of your efforts into solving the why you have to frequently address that particular machine or location will yield you 80% of the results you need to move toward reliability. In other words, if I have a conveyor that is always jamming, or if I have a machine that is constantly causing me problems, I need to identify the reason for that failure. And by identifying the reason and getting to the cause, and perhaps it's an engineering change, perhaps it's a physical change, perhaps it's an operator issue, if I can identify the cause and eliminate it, I have freed up time now to move toward a reliability program. Using a CMMS like Proteus MMX from Eagle to record your time and effort will allow you and your team to figure out where you're spending your time. Identifying that break-fix work and why it's happening will help you gather the data you need to begin to move toward reliability. Once you solve your biggest time-consuming issue, it will free up time to put toward preventative work and thus toward reliability. Perhaps it's as simple as identifying the mean time between failure and ensuring that a PM occurs before the machine breaks. Or it may be identifying a training issue. We do the PM, but it still breaks. Maybe it's the maintenance technician isn't doing the maintenance properly. Maybe it's the operator. But until you identify the issue, you can't move toward the reliabilities program you want. Working with data, you can share with the engineering team, perhaps a supplier, the part's not up to spec, or you're overusing the equipment, it's not designed for the usage levels that you're using it. Travel time. If you don't track travel time, you know, some of our clients have 350,000 square foot buildings or more, and it takes time for a technician to go from point A to point B, and that it can be a huge time waster. Some people have huge campuses, and again, travel time is a huge time waster. If you look at what it takes to do the scheduled PMs, sometimes you look at your team and say, why can't we get them done? Well, it's because you're not recording the data that's related to all of the issues surrounding maintenance. It's the old question of how long does it take to change a light bulb? And it depends, right? Where's the ladder? Or do I need a man lift? What kind of bulb do I need? Do I have it in stock? Where is it? Where am I versus where the ladder or the man lift is? So while the world's talking about big data, we're simply speaking about keeping things, we want to keep things simple. So let me ask you one other question. I appreciate your answers here. What percentage of equipment do you think your organization actually carries out PMs on? Okay, thank you. Very interesting. Somewhere between 30 to 80%, 50 to 80% of the equipment, which is very interesting, because if you aren't doing PMs on 100% of your equipment, and that's the critical piece that fails, you're obviously missing the boat. Getting to only half of your equipment means that the other half is deteriorating, taking up more energy, potential for other issues. So it's a very interesting response. Thank you for your information. Studies have shown that many times a small percentage of items in a plant cause 80% of all the unscheduled downtime. The little nail in the tire here, the screw in the tire, can be the biggest problem you're trying to face. The establishment of a PM program can reduce the unscheduled downtime by more than 50% in less than 18 months. So if you're not maintaining the right things, the smallest of items can cause you the biggest of problems. Here's a tough one. What does 1 hour of downtime cost your company? And I'll appreciate your guesses at this if you don't know. Okay, thank you very much. Downtime is expensive. It's lost opportunity, it's lost productivity. It means people are standing around while other people are scurrying to get things fixed. And we have ranges anywhere over $50,000 an hour to under $2,000 an hour. Depending on the size of your organization, the relative number is huge. Proteus MMX will provide data not only to measure maintenance's product reliability, but also lend itself to providing the 80-20 data, which can improve performance. Without a CMMS tool, you're left with operator's impressions. It's not enough to have an instruction to add grease or lubricant if necessary. It's important to know how much and how frequently it's occurring. We all know that too much lubricant or the consumption of lubricant that is abnormal may indicate a pending failure. If the machine is making a noise, does the operator let maintenance know something that's strange or out of the ordinary? A key to getting information in many cases are the operators, and they're responsible for some day-to-day activities in many organizations regarding setup and maintenance startup. The maintenance team needs to ensure that there's a good line of communication between the operator and maintenance. Operators can hear the differences in their machine from day to day. They need to be trained to report these minor differences so maintenance can investigate before disaster strikes. Critical parts need to be identified. Inventory is most important, but too much space or too much inventory can cost your company lost profits. Many times we replace a motor or a gearbox because it's making noise. But did your team investigate a vibration issue? Maybe you spend time and money replacing the gearbox when vibration associated with the motor speed or belt vibration is really the cause of the problem. But how do you know? Do you allow maintenance maximum visibility to your gears and belts? Do you have clear covers over them so that you can see excess wear or excess grease, etc.? Are you using slow motion video to capture data that's on high-speed equipment? If not, why not? All of your cell phones today can take slow motion video. That slow motion video can in turn show you a problem before it becomes a serious issue. Applying the 80-20 rule to your maintenance efforts, along with data from Proteus MMX, can assist you and your company in moving to a reliability-centered organization. As you find the time-consuming tasks and attack the root cause, you'll find time to do other things. Maintenance is not just a job of the maintenance team, it's the responsibility of the machine operators working with maintenance to get to a reliability state. In fact, it's a cultural change that must occur. Eagle Technology provides a tool in Proteus MMX, and we can also help with 5S and safety, as well as organizational change and change management. Processes and responsibilities need to be documented, agreed upon, and enforced. That checklist for the operator needs to be specific in the details the operator must provide. Add oil if necessary, and a checklist needs to be changed to did you add oil, how much, and be dated and signed. This information then has to be looked at and recorded for maintenance by machine to track and act upon if necessary. In other words, it's not just enough to have the checklist on the machine. It has to be looked at and it has to be specific so that there's data that is recorded and acted upon. Cooperation between production and operations is absolutely the key to success in getting to a reliability state. Eagle Technology and Proteus MMX combine the knowledge and experience to help your company go from downtime and firefighting to predictive, smooth operating company. In summary, reliability is a job. It's a job for everybody in the organization. It's a job that can take you from coming in and doing whatever needs to be done to a planned, organized environment. I want to thank you for your time today, your honesty, and your involvement in this webinar. And if you like this webinar and found it interesting, let us know. We'll plan more opportunities to address topics of concern to you and the manufacturing industry.